On the evening of the 12th of January, 2015, 27-year-old Lindsay Gardner left her home with her 13-month-old daughter, Hailey. She told her husband that she would stay at her parents' house for the night, as it would be more convenient to be closer to work in the morning. After saying goodbye, she buckled her baby into the car seat, got behind the wheel, and set off. Their car quickly disappeared into the night. The time was around 11:30 p.m. The next morning, at around 9:15 a.m., a local resident, driving down a country road, noticed a crashed car parked by trees on the side of the road. Stopping, she realized something was wrong and immediately dialed 911. With a worried voice, the woman informed the dispatcher that she saw a car that had been involved in an accident.
Forward Police, operator K10, what address are you calling about?
Hi, I am at 6801 Dirks Road. There is a car that has went off the road. I do not have anybody here yet, and I can't go and see if they're okay because I have my son in the car and they went through the fence. Now there's a cop right down the street, and I don't know if he's coming this way or not. He's kind of in the Goodwill parking lot.
Okay, and what color is the car?
It's like a gold four-door sedan. It's hit a tree. I don't know how long it's been there. It's behind some brush. It's kind of difficult to see.
Okay, so you didn't see the accident happen, you just see the car down?
I didn't see it, no. Okay. No, it caught my eye because it's like against the tree. There's a cop like probably 100 yards from me. There he comes, 845.
During the call, a female witness managed to attract the attention of a police officer who was nearby and pointed him to a golden Toyota Camry parked nearby. However, upon inspecting the vehicle, the officer found no one inside, although a wallet containing Lindsay's ID was on one of the seats. Finding no obvious signs of a crime, the officer assumed that the driver had fled the scene and left. Sometime later, approximately 2 hours after the incident, a worker arrived at the location for a scheduled fence repair. Noticing something suspicious, he also dialed 911.
She went through the fence, she went through the barricade and through my fence and through my pasture and jumped the fence and then hit into a dead end to a tree. I didn't even see the accident. And there's a baby seat in the back, so there must have been a baby in the car.
A police officer arrives at the scene of the accident again and begins documenting the scene. He finds no blood or injuries on the outside or inside of the car. The driver's side door was open, the keys were still in the ignition, and Lindsay's wallet was on the seat. It was determined that the car was traveling down the road, then crossed into oncoming traffic and rammed a red and white fence on the road. The car then left the road and rammed another barbed wire fence and drove into a field that is a cow pasture. The car then broke through another barbed wire fence and continued driving for several dozen meters before crashing into a tree. A short time later, about 170 meters from the car, 2 bodies were found. They were Lindsay Gardner and her young daughter. The bodies were lying next to a high fence. Both bodies were naked. The mother's body was lying face down, covering the body of her 1-year-old daughter. After this, forensics arrived on the scene, and detectives began working, taking numerous photographs showing the location and placement of many items. Lindsay's shoes were on the floor under the pedals, but one shoe was wedged under the gas pedal. There were many children's items inside the car, and there were no traces of alcohol or drugs in the car. A pile of scattered clothing was found near the crash site. The clothing belonged to Lindsay and her daughter and was being worn at the time of the crash. Detectives determined that the mother had fallen face down while carrying her daughter. The surfaces and feet were covered in dried mud, and she had numerous scratches on her arms, legs, back and knees, which were covered in abrasions. The daughter's body was lying perpendicular to her mother's body, face up. She also had abrasions on the left side of her face, scratches on her lower left leg and back, and abrasions on her chest. Police were unable to find any clear indication of what caused their deaths, as there were no serious injuries to the bodies. Detectives used drones to take aerial photographs. The clothes that were found were carefully examined. Red stains were found on many of the items, but police reports do not indicate that these stains were tested in any lab. The bodies of the mother and daughter were turned over to the medical examiner to determine the exact cause of death. The medical examiner determined that death was due to hypothermia, which is hypothermia with paradoxical undressing. Paradoxical undressing is a phenomenon that sometimes occurs as a result of hypothermia, when a person feels incredibly hot and takes off their clothes. Toxicology tests came back negative, and there were no traces of alcohol or drugs in the victim's blood. However, many questions remain about the case to this day. Lindsay's husband, Anthony Gardner, later said in an interview that he did not understand why she was in the area, as it was in the opposite direction from her parents' home, where she had allegedly gone the night before. The exact cause of the accident was never determined. One of the most likely theories is that the gas pedal jammed, causing the car to accelerate uncontrollably. The car Lindsay was driving was a '96 Toyota Camry. This model was reportedly recalled due to a serious defect that caused the gas pedal cable to fail. Many drivers were seriously injured, and up to 100 people died in the United States. Toyota was the subject of a lawsuit. It is quite possible that the gas pedal was stuck and the car continued to move with increasing speed. In this case, the driver has only 3 options to solve the problem: use the handbrake, shift the gearbox to neutral, or turn off the ignition, turning off the engine. However, for those drivers who first encountered this unexpected sudden acceleration while driving, it will be extremely difficult to take the necessary measures. It is worth noting that one of Lindsay's shoes was found under the gas pedal. It is possible that the woman tried to return the pedal to its original position by trying to hook it from behind. Since this crash was ruled an accident, experts did not conduct an examination of the car. Also, the exact time of the accident was not determined. However, there is another 911 call that may provide a clue.
Yes, this is Forest Police Department operator K 553. May I help you?
Yes, ma'am. My name is Eric Griffin. I'm a shift supervisor with Stevens Transport Tanker Division. I was talking to one of my night drivers, and he was at that scene last night at about 1:30. He seen the car. He stopped. He looked around. He tried to see if there was anybody in the car. Didn't see nobody, and he thought it was somebody just drunk, wrecked the car, and walked home. I don't know if that information would be helpful for him, but that was at 1:30 this morning.
Based on this information, it can be assumed that the accident occurred between 11:30 p.m. and 1:30 a.m., taking into account the fact that the distance between Lindsay's house and the accident site is about 2.5 kilometers. The accident could have happened just a few minutes after they left. However, no one reported the accident to the police that night. The first call was made only at 9 a.m. The air temperature that night in the area was in the range of 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. The accident occurred within sight of many residential buildings. If a person had acted rationally after the accident, he or she could have headed towards the road and houses for help, which were within walking distance. However, instead of heading towards the road and houses, Lindsay and her daughter went to an open field. It is possible that Lindsay lost consciousness during the accident, and when she woke up, she was already in the late stages of hypothermia, after which she got out of the car and took her child, walked a few meters, and took off her and her daughter's clothes. In a clouded state of consciousness and disorientation due to the cold, they walked a few dozen meters more, then fell to the ground. It is possible that during the accident, Lindsay actually suffered a concussion without any obvious external signs, as a result of which she acted erratically and irrationally. The sad fact is that the deceased woman and her young daughter were in trouble very close to the road and residential buildings. That night, cars were driving on the road and people were in the houses, but unfortunately, no one noticed the woman and child in the darkness of the night, in the middle of the field. In the end, the exact cause of the accident was never determined. It remains a mystery what really happened that night. This tragic story reminds us how important it is to be cautious and attentive, especially at night and in difficult weather conditions. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you enjoy videos like this, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It really means a lot to me. Thank you for watching until the end. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.